Whoops. It would be good to have the webcam set up before we start. It's normally a good idea. Whoops. There we go. And that means we have audio, and that's not, oops, is not the normal way that we start the stream. The normal way we do it is live from Columbus, OH. This is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show, episode number 574. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. Yes, actually certified. And to find my, what is it called? My financial content, just go down past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, and see it's with Ramsey Solutions Certified Coach Steve Money, and that is me. So if you see that, you're probably in the right place. And the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in them, in it, and so listen to them if you are so inclined. Market report. A new NASDAQ was up yesterday. Did it get back to the new high? It looks like it did. Let's look at the 5-year version. Yeah, it looks like a new high for that. And so let's just check the war between the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. And apparently I'm the only one that emphasizes that. Haven't really seen anybody else do that. Of course, right now, this second S&P 500 is up more today than the NASDAQ. But let's take a look at the 5 years. And in the 5 years, recently, the S&P 500 has caught up, or had caught up, to within, I think, less than 1 percentage point of being the same amount of earnings, in the same percentage of earnings in the last 5 years. But let's see, was that 96.83? But then in the last week, 2 weeks, something like that, that's 91. So 5% difference, and that's a lot over time. But also good, and it doesn't matter that it's only a little bit. Russell Small Cap Index and the Dow Jones in the high 60s, no, mid 60s for Small Cap Index, but both of those up by that much, and the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ down by lower. But anytime where all these main indices or indexes, it's just another fancy way to say indexes. When all these indexes are green, that's a good day. And this would even be fine if it were similar numbers to this every day, and like it never went down. Because there is no reason to sell, but people do day trading, etc., and change their mind on what investments they want to have, and so that is going to happen, and so you are going to have your fluctuations instead of just a straight line going up and to the right. Oh, what else do we need to talk about? Anything? Oh, yeah, let's talk about the rest of the planet. How about that? Everything up in Europe, everything up in Asia. Good day for the whole world, or at least these three or Europe and Asia and the United States. Let's see how that dollar's doing. Now, if it holds true to the form most times, the market being up is going to mean a weaker dollar. It's just, I don't know what the reasoning for that is, but that just seems how it's not always, but that just seems how it is mostly since I've been tracking it since I've started the after show. What, how, 5 years now? Something like that. The US dollar down to the euro, down to the Japanese yen, down to the British pound low, down to the Canadian dollar, and also down to the Australian Dolomite. Found out last night. Was chatting with my friend Shelby on the Discord and found out that 1 million is like $653,000. 1 million Australian dollars is 653,000 US dollars. But prices of things, especially real estate, the US dollar has much more buying power than the Australian dollar because everything is inflated there. They make more money too, of course, and so I was also wondering about that. Is that some nefarious thing where they raise the wages and raise the prices both just to get the numbers high up for a reason, which seems unnecessary to be that much. I know demand drives price as well, but interesting to think about. As usual, I told her to defect to America, especially to the Midwest, where that $653,000 found a nice 5-bedroom house for that, and of course the $1 million Australia would only get a 2-bedroom house there. So that's how that works. So it doesn't matter the actual number. It depends on what buying power that number has. And for after the conversion rate, American dollar has, US dollar has much more buying power. Let's see, earnings, calendar, we got Cisco, we got Applied Materials, SharpLink Gaming Incorporated, never heard of it. Maybe if I remember, I'll Google it. I have heard of the Walmart, however. So this could be an interesting week and next week for Walmart. We'll see what those numbers have to say. Cisco, of course, makes a lot of networking products, routers, and so forth. The most followed single stocks on the Google. Apple up, Google down, or Alphabet rather down. The ticker symbol is still Google without the L. Microsoft down, Amazon up, and Meta and Tesla down. Let's take a look at the headlines really quick, and we'll get into some questions. I don't have any articles today. Companies are pouring billions of dollars into AI. It has yet to pay off. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. You just can't say, okay, we'll use AI. You have to have a good reason to do it and a plan for how it's going to help your company. Amazon launches same-day delivery of meat, eggs, produce in more than 1,000 cities. Oh, that sounds like it costs more money. No, thank you. I will carry my butt. I'm not that lazy or that busy that I can't go to the freaking grocery store to get my own food. And any kind of food, like even Domino's Pizza. I am the delivery driver. My tip is that I don't have to pay a tip. New York City companies all but stopped hiring in the first half of the year. Any nutty thing going on in New York City, it pretty much doesn't surprise me anymore. That's also something I was talking with Shelby about. It's like New York and California, those like that like mindset and those prices is basically her entire country. False trick, but they have better accents though than Californians and New Yorkers. Ex-Kroger CEO ordered by judge to reveal embarrassing details in a lawsuit involving singer Jewel. Jewel hanging out with a Kroger CEO at one time? Well, maybe he's charming. Who knows? What choices contribute most to climate change? Them changing the numbers retroactively to make it seem like it has gotten even hotter since the 30s. They just decided, oh well, we were probably wrong about this, and it was colder back then, just to make their case better. That probably is a choice that contributes most to it. Definitely political, etc., etc. No one's saying it's not getting a little bit hotter, but is it something to have a religion over, to create a religion over? It is not. Step aside, quiet quitting. Now employers have to worry about quiet cracking. I bet it's not gonna let me read this, but there's quiet cracking. All right, I told you it wasn't going to. It's behind a paywall, kids. I wonder if, like in this case, the Business Insider would be shuffling any coin over to the Google Finance because I just clicked that. I wonder. GE Appliances invests $3 billion in U.S. manufacturing operations. Great. Yeah, make it in the U.S. Excellent. Costs more a lot of times in third world countries, but keep some jobs here. Thanks, GE. FDA may revoke Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine authorization for kids under a certain age. Okay. All right, and that apparently is still a thing. People are still getting it, apparently. Let's see. In NVIDIA, I always like to check on the NVIDIA, down 1.8%. AMD up 2.91 though. So that cancels that one out if you're keeping score in your own portfolio. Alrighty, so that's it for the market report. Let's take a and NASDAQ now negative. That's not fun, but again, we don't freak out over any daily or even monthly or even yearly negation. We do not do that. We're not day trading. We're saving for retirement. So it only matters the 30-year return, basically. If you have 30 years in the market, then that's what you should act like you're doing, and you don't act like, oh, I gotta freak out just because the market went down. And the favorite example would be the Pandy. Oh yeah, the Pandy is not even on the 5-year thing anymore. There it is. See? So you see, look how far down it was back then. So that was 5 years and it's gone up that much. And yes, you got your Pandy crash right there. And guess what I did back then? I probably started investing probably just a little bit before that. So I was probably in here. And so I invested every paycheck all the way up to here to the new high back then. And then when it crashed, I invested every paycheck, so I was getting it on sale this entire time. And then as it was going back up, still on sale, still on sale, still on sale. And even though we didn't know it, even up here it was on sale because it would go up higher. And so then this, and then this, and then here's your, I guess, tariff crash here. I mean, just little mini baby crashes, not huge, and you shouldn't really worry about it. I mean, again, my whole thing about the market is if this fails to ever come back and be at a new high, then that might be the end of America. It might be Rome. Rome is gone at that point, and you would have more problems most likely than your retirement account. Let's do some questions. Reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey is one of the places I go for questions. Mostly use that. Occasionally use the Ramsey Solutions Run forum over on the Facebook, and it's called the Ramsey Baby Steps Community. And if you go to a Ramsey group that's not named that, then that one is not run by Ramsey Solutions. It's just run by fans, and this is run by fans as well. Let's see. Deleted. Got too hot there. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the feedback on the multiple messages because, again, if you post something, Reddit lets you know every single time that somebody comments. There might be a way to turn it off, but instead of turning it off, people just delete their stuff. Let's see. Should I ... House value $1 million mortgage balance. What? Oh, house value $1 million. My bad. The mortgage balance is 153, so that's a lot of equity in that. Total investments 570K. You should only be until your house is paid off. You should only be doing the 15%. So probably you're doing it wrong. 6 days ago, emergency fund cash 26K. No other debt besides mortgage. Badly want to get to step 7 and move on. I see. Well, then why do you have, possibly more investments? Then I mean, I don't know how old the person is, so who knows? Who knows if that's extra investing? But I feel like for me that it is because people are nutty and a lot of them do things like, oh, still have debt and invest and save a bunch of money as well in addition. And should you be doing that? No. All the extra money goes to pay off the debt first. And that's how you move to a higher baby step number. We have 78K in a non-taxable brokerage account. That answers my freaking question. So that's dumb as crap. So you're debt leveraging this house, this mortgage, so that you can have this non-taxable brokerage. That's what this person has been doing since they started to open the non-taxable brokerage account. In a non-taxable brokerage account, I feel like for me that this is going to be, I don't know what that would be. Maybe the person said it wrong and it's a taxable brokerage account and it's a non-tax advantaged brokerage account. So that's what I feel like the situation is. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know of a non-taxable brokerage account that's not a retirement account. So I'm going to act like the normal thing that people do, and this is exactly normal, is they would overinvest and under pay off their mortgage. Let's see. I know 78K won't pay off the mortgage. It'll pay off half of it, brah. But it will shave off a few years of payments. Indeed. We plan on paying off in 3 years, but want to speed it up. Would it not be wise to throw the $78K to the mortgage? Yes, it would, but if it's going to be have penalties on it, I don't know. I've not heard of a non-taxable brokerage account other than retirement account. So if this is retirement money, you would not be doing that. So I don't know what the total investments are, if that includes the $1 million house, but that shouldn't, because that math doesn't work out, because that only equals 823 unless you're doing some crazy rounding up there. But that is the advice, to not do any dumb, stupid financial bro calculator crap while you still have the mortgage to pay off. You pay off the mortgage, and then after that, then you can do whatever dumb crap you want to do, except go into a lower baby step. Do I need more life insurance? Wife and I have no children. We are in our mid-40s. Well, if your wife is dependent upon your income, that is the exact reason that you get life insurance. I currently have 20 years left on a $300,000 30-year term life insurance. Although I bought 10 years ago, I paid $300 per year per this policy. Yes, much cheaper than whole life. My annual income is around $65K. My wife makes around $125K. Okay, well, so what you do is you do 10 to 12 times. So you would need $650K to generate that $65K for your wife. And your wife would need $1,250,000 to generate the $125K. And so that keeps the same amount of money coming in no matter which one of you dies. So maybe you don't need that. Maybe you have enough assets, enough savings, something like that. The only debt we have is $80K left on the mortgage for a house that's worth $425. If you have any savings that's more than $80K, you're so dumb, and you should have already paid off the house. You're doing it wrong. We have about $500K combined in our retirement accounts. Right, that you don't touch to pay. You don't use that to pay off debt. Dave Ramsey recommends 10 to 12 times your annual income worth of term life insurance. So I recently applied for another $350K 20-year term policy through Xander. I was quoted $915 per year due to medical diagnosis in early 2024. Well, that's not fun. The medical condition is under control. Apparently not according to Xander. You can try a different insurer for sure, but it doesn't matter to them if you're seeing your primary doctor and specialist regularly. They don't give a crap. They think your diagnosis means that you need to pay $915 per year. So otherwise, I'm very healthy. It doesn't matter otherwise. Other than this cancer, I'm great. Let's see. I'm a marathon runner. I eat right and exercise regularly. Hey, man, Xander must think it's a problem. Without the medical diagnosis, my premium would be $395 per year. Yeah. Is it worth paying that much more? Do you think I need $650K worth of coverage? Yes. If your wife is dependent on that income. So if she needs that income to make your dumbass payments to the house, which you probably should have already paid off. I don't know. They don't say anything about extra saving or extra investing, so I don't know what their deal is, but most people are doing it wrong. So it's a good shot here. Let's see. Edit. Thank y'all for the advice. I guess the thing I'm most concerned about is that I'm the nerd and she's the free spirit. If she passes before me, I could go live under a bridge and I'd be fine. Yeah. Now, it's a metaphor. That just means live very cheaply, meaning he doesn't have to have the house. He could sell the house and keep the money and just go live in some shanty or something like that. Just kidding, but I would have no problem downsizing. Right. I was sort of leaning towards just investing the money instead of buying more life insurance. You can do that as well. But again, it would depend on how hard your wife would have without your income coming in. If she doesn't need it at all, then you don't need the insurance. That's how that works. The life insurance. I know that Dave Ramsey always says that you shouldn't mix insurance and investing. Well, that's correct in the same thing, meaning you don't pay somebody that's gonna. It's not an insurance policy like whole life insurance that combines investing. But as far as mixing it, like you're talking about it, again, it would depend on if she needed that income, if she can't make it without your 65K a year. But I have a question. Oh, good. Why wouldn't everyone just get a bunch of life insurance no matter what, considering how inexpensive it can be? Well, they can. And the advice is that they should if someone is dependent upon their income. If no one's dependent on your income, you don't even need to get enough to bury you, but that would be considered classy probably. I mean, they'll find out, they'll figure out something to do with your body. They will. So, let's see, for instance, but, you might, if you want to be classy, you might want to have enough to bury you. For instance, I mean, you can set the, say, $10,000 funeral, and that's it. That's for the casket, everything. That's all we're paying. And so you would get $10,000 of insurance, and that would be very, very cheap. Except for him who has this some kind of diagnosis that Xander doesn't like. But again, check another insurer. For instance, if my calculations are correct, if I invest $1,000 per year with a 10% return, instead of paying into the insurance policy and I pass in 10 years, my wife would have 15,937. With the insurance policy, she would receive 350,000, and I'm thinking wrong here. No, that seems like that might be correct. But again, you're thinking about the actual numbers more than the main point is, does your wife need it, or do you guys have other assets, etc., that she could sell? And if she needed to, whether she wanted to or not, doesn't matter. She could also sell that house. Doesn't say. This is not the $1 million worth house. So, but 80K left on the mortgage. And oh, I got a great idea. You know what you guys should do if you guys are doing any dumb crap and not following the baby steps? How about you follow the baby steps and get that mortgage paid off? Not having a mortgage or rent payment definitely helps a spouse when the other spouse dies. So, and of course in retirement as well. What's happening? Rena Bio? Rena Bio? No? Oh no, it's N-N-A-B-Y. Nabio 771. What's happening? Not a lot, bro. What's up with you? And what do you waste money on the most without considering how it makes you feel? Well, it would seem like any expenditure of money that would be considered a waste. It would seem like the reason you're spending it is first to do something fun. So that is based on what you feel. So this person is nutty. I don't understand what the deal is. Let's see what the thing is. I began recording everything in a notebook as we attempted to organize my budget. S in the organize, so might be from the bloody UK or Australia. But I was surprised to discover that I enjoy spending money on things that I don't value, like coffee in the morning or delivery at night. Okay. Well, if you're spending money on those, then you do value it, probably. Oh, otherwise you could live without it. I don't get it. I also didn't want to. I also didn't want to know. Semicolon. Why did you nearly lose? Why did you nearly lose in the sea, man? I don't know what that is. What is the biggest law? I don't know what that is. What is the biggest thing that causes you to lose money without feeling anything? I mean, it's not always a feeling. It's just like some things that you need, like you gotta have gas to go to the store and to go to work and places like that. So you gotta buy gas. And I don't know necessarily that it's a feeling. Like if you accept the reality that you need to buy gas, then you just do it. And you don't necessarily have to feel bad about not having that money anymore. But I understand people that with any money they spend, they would have a feeling about it. I believed we would all gain knowledge from others' experience, and perhaps I would even gain something from what I said here. All right, kind of nutty, kind of spiritual. Another thought experiment there, but without considering how it makes you feel, and maybe not English the first language, and that might be the disjointed um, feel feel to the to this particular post. But I mean, what would I waste money on? I had canes the other day, and I had some Arby's gyros last night. As I'm celebrating birthday week here. So I mean that can be considered wasting money. What else do I spend money on? I get fair use probably out of the money that I would spend on a new computer when I do upgrade. What else do I waste money on where it would be an actual waste? Probably not too much. I'll try to remember the next time that I waste money, and so I'll maybe start writing them down so I can report on that. Entertainer minute 119. Okay. David Spade had a thing on the weekend update on Saturday Night Live. It was the Hollywood Minute, where basically we just eviscerate celebrities. It's fun times. Too early for this in my emergency fund. Okay, a lot of people include a lot of dumb stuff in their emergency fund. And like one thing that you don't include in the emergency fund of your expenses each month is the amount that you're investing. Because if there's an emergency, you would stop investing. Because you're supposed to just pile up cash, so you don't invest during that. Right now, 6 months of expenses would be roughly $27,000. My wife and I plan on having a baby in 2027, and daycare will cost about $2,000 a month. Would you save for that now or wait until it's closer? No, you wouldn't save for it now. Because most of the time, I mean, so this assumes that you have no non-mortgage debt then. So if you're on step 3 doing your 6 month fully funded emergency fund, then that's fine. But I find that most people, they just include everything, even stuff that they would be stopping, like the investing. So you don't include the investing amount. So, or wait until it's closer. Okay, so something like, guess what? Something like the $2,000 a month for daycare. You're gonna have to be able to cash flow that. It does say baby step 3 right there, so my bad. Should have just looked for the flare. I guess I didn't want to talk about his flare. Um, my wife and I plan on having a baby in 2027. Yeah, hey, guess what? Might not happen. So you would do your baby steps based on the reality as of right now, and there is no baby, is how that works. As far as the rest of it, hey, guess what? Accidental babies happen as well. You might have one in 2025. Well, maybe not 2025. What month is it? 8? Yeah, so you might have one in 2026 instead. I mean, I guess could already be what is it? 4 months, so could already be 5 months pregnant without realizing it. Stranger stuff has happened. So, but yeah, you would have to be able to cash flow that out of earnings. And so, what you would be doing right now, though, is the baby steps. And the further up you are on the baby steps, the better you can cash flow that daycare. And also, you do need to look at how much, you wouldn't want mom to be working, or you, whichever one of you makes a lower amount of money. You probably wouldn't want to be working if that's going to cost $2,000 a month and she makes $2,500 a month or $3,000 a month, probably even. That's not worth it. That's not worth it. Just go with the lesser income and don't have a job. And that parent can stay home with the baby once it happens. So you don't save money for that in advance. Of course, the only time you would is if you need like treatments, medical treatments and stuff like that, so that you can have a baby. That's when you would save for it, because that's a known upcoming expense. And you also know that you might be needing daycare, but that is a possible upcoming expense, not a known one. So you wouldn't do that. Again, baby has to be here before baby to be involved in any financial decision. Sell sheet 2, add more into baby step 3 fund. Let's see. Well, we just talked about people including the investing amount in that, just because they take their entire list of expenses. But you would not be doing that while you're on storage mode. You pause the baby steps and you just pile up cash, and all that cash just sits there until mom and baby are home safe. And as my pal Sid told me, yeah, you should also wait until you have settled with the hospital, but all the bills. So you shouldn't just throw it to debt immediately, or whatever baby step you're on. You should not do that until you have settled that the baby expenses from the hospital. Something's been nagging me for a while about baby step 3. Well, get it off your chest, sir or madam. Shouldn't this be more than 3 to 6 months of monthly expenses? No, it should not. Also, if you don't like the 3, if you don't think that's enough, go to 6 months. If you do more than 6 months of monthly expenses, that's too much savings and not enough action on the baby steps. What happens if you have to go to the ER while you're unemployed, or goodness forbid, need surgery? That's also what insurance is for as well. Getting insurances in place is part of baby step 0, so that should already be done. Should the monthly expenses fund be combined with an added emergency fund? No. Say 3 to 6 months plus your health insurance deductible amount and maybe even some buffer on top of that. No, that wouldn't be part of that, but you can do like a health savings account and have that deductible amount in there. You can do that. Personally, I've had some medical issues in the past and have had to go to the ER a few times from bad medicine reactions, but I can't imagine what that would look like without an income and while burning through the baby step 3 fund just for the monthly expenses and having to worry. Bow, 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 bow. Worry. What are we worrying about? Worry about that on top of being unemployed. I've always wondered about this type of situation is all. Okay, so the emergency fund is not supposed to take care of 20 different emergency things happening at the same time, or even two really big amounts of it. So, and again, it would not include optional things. So look at all your expenses that you expense during the month, that you buy during the month, and then you take out everything that's optional, like investing, like eating out, etc., etc., etc. And so, but that's all you should have. If you lose a job, your mandate there is that you get a job very quickly. Then if you're so worried about it that you think you have to have more baby step 3 money, then it should worry you enough to get a job ASAP doing anything, even a job that you think you are better than. People are nutty. Let me just think of like the worst situation. Okay, I'm out of a job and also I need surgery. Yeah. I mean, could it happen? Has it happened? Sure. But again, they probably don't happen on the same day. But if you lose your job, hey, that should be, oh, I was so worried about that. I guess I should get my ass back to work quickly. Since I was so worried about having more emergency fund money, I guess I think I can't be without a job, so I need to get a job immediately then. See, but no, people don't ever want to do that. They just want to nitpick the advice and try to change the baby steps, of course. But no, they don't want to change themselves. Social Security monthly taxes. Do anyone know the tax rate a person pays from their Social Security monthly check? Started collecting at age 65 in New York State. Thanks. Hey, guess what? You probably have some paperwork, like a pay stub or something like that, that you can look at that would tell you that. There's probably a way you could find out, and not for me. And it's probably not the same on everybody. And since it is income tax, I think it would be subject to state as well, and the state tax is going to be different. In Tennessee, there's none. In Florida, there's none. Texas too? I can't remember. Inflation. Hi guys, I'm 16 and I'm worried about inflation. Well, 16. I would like you to wait until you're 18 to worry about inflation. I mean, if you're just trying to understand it, it's fairly easy to understand as well. Things just become worth more. Or if you live in a different country than America, like the bloody UK, or, you know, or that's multiple countries, or Australia, or Canada, things just cost a lot of money there. And now you also make more money per capita, or, you know, on average, probably most people make more money there, but they still can't buy anything because things are so expensive. Let's see. I have a high yield savings account with Capital One. Great. That is the advice for teenagers and low 20s, to just pile up cash until you are graduated with your grown-up job. And also, you might need to buy a car along the way. You also have to move out of mommy and daddy's house at some point. And so that's money to take care of all of that, the things life throws at you. And so you're not supposed to invest it. But a lot of people think, oh, well, I should start investing when I'm 10 years old. No, it's not the advice. I've been checking with my local credit union. Use the CU here. Very, very interesting 16-year-old here. I always made it an idea to split my allowance, $15 a month or $15 bi-weekly. What? If you can get 15 every 2 weeks, I would choose to do that rather than have it every 4 weeks. So, does that depend on how good you are or something? Or your grades? Interesting. If it's just a choice, you pick the more money, obviously. Into savings and checking, but I was told that you lose money due to inflation in checking. Okay. All right. I mean, this is a little thing we call reality. And so, but I also think that perhaps, I mean, 16 is old enough to accept the reality of inflation, but hey, man, go have some fun while you're 16. How about you do that a little bit? And be lighthearted and stuff like that, and don't worry about inflation. And also, even as an adult, you shouldn't worry about inflation, because guess what? It happens, and guess what you can do to change that? And the answer to that would be donut. You can do zero about the inflation. And so the idea is you lose money due to inflation. You don't lose money, but things do become more expensive due to inflation, and so you lose the buying power we mentioned earlier when comparing the United States and Australia. So I was told that you lose money, and just this, I mean, this is so cute. Because this is very like what something a 16-year-old would say. I was told that you lose money due to inflation. You didn't know that already? Hey man, Google it. It'll be fun. My credit card. Yeah, you're probably Googling, cat videos or something like that otherwise. So that will tell you. But that's how it works. And so, but there's no need to be all, oh, I'm so sad about that. There's nothing you can do to change it. That's reality. And again, here's what we do on the Coach Steve Money streams is we see the reality right in front of us here in this empty space here. Because reality often doesn't look like particular something. And if people are involved in the particular reality that you're addressing at the moment, they might not want hugs. So it's metaphorical, I guess. You would just see the reality in front of you and you would embrace it. So you say, yes, inflation is going to happen. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be smart with my money. And so that will make my financial situation better, whether there is inflation or not. And of course, there is. My credit union says if the balance is over $100, I would imagine you could trust them on that. So it doesn't have to be my credit union says. Again, 16-year-old speaking. Says if the balance is over $100, you can have no activity and they won't close the account until 17 months. Less than $100 equals only 12. Yeah. a lot of banks have minimum requirements. Which is not that bad for me. Okay, see, and that wouldn't even matter if you have over $100. Then why do you even need to worry about this stuff? People in general and kids are nutty too. Kids have they're not worldly wise yet. They have an excuse. Let's see, which is not that bad for me. Okay, great. How can I effectively have money in checking but not lose to inflation? Or should I put, you could have an interest-bearing checking account. It generally has to be a much higher balance in there. Or should I put everything into savings and take out what I need? Yeah. You got the high yield savings account. That hopefully is outdistancing inflation. I'm an AU on 2 credit cards. Beep, 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 doo. I don't know what AU is. Australian Union. I don't know what AU means. On 2 credit cards. I'm building credit, but my mom makes 100% of payments because I make small purchases or large purchases. Okay, this is nutty. What would Dave do, Flair? Not any of the dumb butt stuff that you're doing. We don't care about credit score. Maybe this kid is new to the Ramsey. What is this? Income long jumping for 1. Alright. I'm 207 in high yield savings accounts, 170 in checking. You can do that. The problem with it being a high yield savings account, which is again why I don't suggest that you put all your emergency fund money into a high yield savings account, is because emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for a transfer. And not anything that you might need money for, you would have to transfer that from your savings account. And hey, guess what? If something happens where you need to buy something or you want to buy something, guess what? Then you're not going to be winning against inflation on that, because you don't still have that money earning interest. So it's a fallacy to even go down that road. Do I transfer anything from checking to savings for now? It's, in those small amounts, it's not going to make that much difference. I know you want to be financially smart, and I know everybody wants to start right now doing everything. And having a checking and savings account for a 16-year-old is, it's not the end of the world. But again, how about you be a kid for a little bit longer? You can research all this stuff, and all of this stuff is available on Google. But again, the credit card thing and the building credit, that is not the Ramsey advice. So what you're doing on the Ramsey subreddit here may be trolling. It could be. Some 16-year-olds troll for sure. Anyway. How much should I have before I transfer? There's not a set amount. You don't have to say, well, every time I get $200 in there, I'll transfer it. That doesn't make any difference. The more money you put in it sooner, you'll make more money in the high yield savings account. Make more interest. Okay, because it's confusing to me. If I set a limit for $200, I earn my allowance. I split it. What? 207 is my new balance, and I transfer out $7 because it's above my balance. Doesn't that just mean my checking gets no money at all? Yeah. Your checking account is not having more, but your whole idea here was to get interest to out earn inflation, my friend. What should I do? Any and all advice? Not worry about it as much as you are. You can, of course, keep money that you don't need right now in a high yield savings account. And money that you don't have to have immediate access to it. Now, there are some high yield savings accounts that do have debit card access or check writing access, and those are fabulous. And so that's fine for emergency fund, and would be fine for this 16-year-old. But you don't need to do any of this stuff. It's not a thing. The bigger problem here would be that you have credit cards at 16 and you are trying to build credit. And it sounds like, I'm going to go ahead and guess, because I know it's true, a 16-year-old cannot get a credit card by themselves. So this is going to be something mommy or daddy did, and put your name on it. And so that's going to be a no from Mr. Ramsey. So the main thing about this, more important to worry about than inflation, would be the fact that you're doing it wrong. For extent, 4632 general advice. Hey everyone, hi guys, I'm 22 from the bloody UK, and following Dave Ramsey's plan, I have no debt. Excellent. A 6-month emergency fund. Excellent. It better not have investing money in that amount, or you're doing it wrong. 10K bloody quid saved toward a house deposit. UK doesn't have PMI, but I know bigger deposits are better. That's right. House deposit equals down payment. You have to interpret sometimes, because other countries think they need to have different words for things. 2 cars. 16-year-old Peugeot, interesting. 1K bloody quid value, 85K miles, recently repaired. One should last a few more years. Okay, don't know why the one was there. 2.5-year-old Ford. Why do we have 22-year-old? What does a 22-year-old need 2 vehicles for? 10K value, 45K miles, excellent condition. Says no debt, so paid cash. So, all right. I think I'm ready to start baby step 4, investing for retirement. Okay, sounds like it. No debt, 6-month emergency fund. That would be steps 2 and 3, and of course 1. You have more than $1,000 now, and so yeah. So that sounds like you are in baby step 4. But I'm wondering about the cars. Should I sell one to boost my retirement or house deposit, or just keep both since they're in good condition and paid off? Any advice in general would be appreciated. Well, I mean, I guess that would depend on if you are very concerned about either of them taking a crap on you in the next short term, and then you would have another car. They are not out of line as far as what they are worth, probably. It doesn't say what this person makes. But also, you don't need 2 cars at the same time. But understand, if you have how much is the older one? 2.5-year-old Ford. Now that one is newer, so theoretically it would be better. And that's a 16-year-old Peugeot, worth only 1K. I mean, you're only going to get 1K out of that. But if it just sits there and you never drive it and it's just waiting for an emergency, I mean, you investing 1K in that, I actually don't have a problem with that either, though. It's worth just 1K and you know it works. So if something happens to the 2.5-year-old Ford, you would have that, and vice versa. If you're mainly driving the Peugeot, you also have the Ford. Interesting though, 2.5-year-old Ford. Are we sure that's not 25-year-old Ford? Oh, 5-year-old Ford. Still only worth 10K. And of course, I gotta remember the money difference. It's probably just like Australia, where it's like almost twice as much. So this would be more like 20,000 United States dollars, maybe in Australia. Don't know about bloody England or anywhere else in the UK. So yeah, that still seems low. That seems like an awful lot of depreciation in 5 years. But I guess it could happen. And could have been on payments. They both could have been, and just have been now paid off. But at 22 to have two cars like that is interesting. Any advice in general would be appreciated. Um, I mean, if you could get 10K for the 5-year-old Ford, if you trust the Peugeot to last until you are in a better financial situation, so that, yeah, I mean, you're on step 4, so you have the full emergency fund as well. So I guess you could buy a car with the emergency fund if the Peugeot died on you. So yeah, I mean, that would have put you ahead 10K more quid in investing. And so, but the idea when you start baby step 4, and a lot of people have the wrong idea about this. They think, oh, I'm going to start investing. Oh, I should find all kinds of different money and put it in there. No, the idea is that you start putting 15% of your gross income into retirement, meaning out of each check that you get from then on. It doesn't mean that you go back in time and sell a bunch of stuff. Highlight. I'm trying to do more hand talking. That always annoys me when I see that on the thing. You know, people do that, and then they're here and here and here and here. Or if they say a word that is at all personal or something like from their personal experience, then they do this. Yeah, I watched a lot of orientation videos very recently, and so that annoyed the crap out of me when the people are doing hand talking. So over and over. No, they didn't do that one, but that one would be funny to see. Oh, so where were we on this? Oh yeah, any advice in general would be appreciated. Yeah, I'm fine with either way on this. I'm fine with either way. You can do that, and you can start off with a 10K chunk if you sell the Ford, but then you don't have an extra car. And then you'll have to, if the Peugeot dies, you'll have to do that. To do 1,000 to sell that Peugeot for $1,000, it's probably better to have a second car hanging around. But also the problem with that is also I don't know about I'm assuming it's the same in the UK where you have to pay insurance on both of those. So this one's an either or, and so I'm really fine with either. I understand having two cars. I did as well for a brief short period of time until one of them decided didn't want to work anymore either, and wasn't worth repairing, and so I just sold it for scrap. But that was 10 years ago or so. Mortgage or savings, VBM real. I have $70,000 left on my mortgage at 2.9%. I have more than 6 months of liquid savings. You should not have more than 6 months of liquid savings. Guess what? The emergency fund. Oh, let's check out to see what Mr. Ramsey has to say about it. As far as the baby steps, it says save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. It doesn't say, but save a little bit more than 6 months if you feel like it. It does not say that there. And you should not have any more than 6 months of expenses in savings. for your emergency fund. Now, if you have you have known expenses coming up, like if you need, you're going to need tires, is my favorite example, or if you put a vacation in the budget, you might need to save up for the vacation, and that's fine as well, but you don't have general chest in case I need it or in case I see something I want to buy. That's not being gazelle intense enough. That's not being intentional enough. So that's going to be a no for me, dog, on that. So you don't have that. You also don't invest more than 15% because you know why? Guess where that money needs to go? Not to investing, but to kids' college, if that applies, or paying off the mortgage early. If you start investing and 5 and 6 don't apply to you, if you're renting and you save for kid college, and you have no kids, then you skip 5 and 6, and then you're on step 7. Congratulations, and then you can invest more. But a time where you wouldn't do that is if you are on step 4 and you are investing the 15%. You don't have kids, and you are not. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have a house. You're just renting again. Now, if you're renting from your mommy and daddy, if you're still living with them, then that's when you would be saving money to move out and go become an adult. Then that would be the dealio. Let's see. So yeah, there's no more. You are debt leveraging. Or you're leveraging at the expense of the mortgage. Yeah, you're debt leveraging the house in order to have that extra savings. So that's going to be a nar. You're doing it wrong. People are nutty. They always do it wrong. I put 15% in my Roth IRA. I have a high yield savings over 4%. No debt other than mortgage. Is it really worth paying the mortgage off early? It's paying the mortgage off early. Yes. Hey, guess what? Guess what? Were any of the other steps worth it? Yes. So just assume that all of them are, you dumbass. Step 6 says pay off your home early. And that's so you don't have that mortgage payment anymore. And you don't debt leverage to try to, I'm going to have this in savings and this will make more. High yield savings account over 4% and my mortgage is only 2.9%. So I'm winning. I'm being a financial bro. Quit being stupid. All right, going a little longer today. Super COD 4336, financial planning advice when you might not make a lot. Hey, trying this again. Did you fail the first time in typing a post? It could happen, I guess. Former data analyst left to join the army and work in behavioral health. I think I remember this guy. I enjoy behavioral health, but want to return to data analytics. Apply for a job doing data analytics. Despite hiring freezes, I'm aiming to work specifically at a federal agency. That seems problematic to me because that's not embracing the reality of hiring freezes. So you kind of being dumb there. Now, I get it. In some careers, like, I don't know, acting, that kind of thing. You really have to, or it can help. It helps some actors, and they talk about it. Is that they basically don't embrace the reality. And they refuse to, and think I'm the only one for this role. And so a really famous case of that would be Robert Downey Jr. for Tony Stark, Iron Man. He had so many people, even people from Was it Marvel? It wasn't even Marvel. Back then, it wasn't the Marvel Cinematic Unit, universe. He helped create that with the Iron Man movie. But I'm trying to remember even what movie company that was at the time. Anyway, but he had people associated with the movie, the director and the producer, and they were hesitant to hire him. Of course, he had, issues in his youth, of course, made mistakes, made a lot of mistakes, but he apparently became a pretty stand-up guy. But he said he just refused to think that anybody else would get the role, so he kept at it and kept at it hard. But so in this case though, a government hiring freeze, I don't know if you can mentally bypass that by doing that. School is covered through military benefits. Great. Go to school then. I'm still on active duty and plan to complete my education while serving. Okay, great. If you're on active duty, then you can't go back to analytics unless you can do that in your military career. Recently accepted an applied stats program. I was also accepted in an MPP program. I don't know what that means. I can realistically do both part-time since I have about 3 years left on my contract. Smooth with the like. So you don't have to put the like in there. You can just say about. You don't have to double state it. I have about 3 years. That means you're estimating it. So you don't have to also say like. You can do one or the other. And of course, about is more the King's English. My school referred me to speak with a recruiter. Referred me to speak with a recruiter. All right. From a federal agency, the FBI, the federal BI, Bureau of Investigation. I met with him today. He said I'm highly qualified, encouraged me to apply near the end of my contract. He also shared a few points. Okay. Key points for meeting. Role is GS9. Okay, I don't care about that. Expect a long hiring process. Yeah, I could earn more as a special agent, but that would require relocation. It would also require being a special agent instead of being a data analyst, would it not? Probably more shooting would be involved there, I'm imagining. Or at least, maybe I'm watching too many shows and movies. I'm aware there are federal hiring freeze, but I refuse to be bound by that. And I recognize I would make a lot more in industry. Doesn't care. Didn't care about any of that. Okay. Knock yourself out then. What's the problem? I still have my old data job. I never quit. I just took leave. Okay. Well, you can do that. You get to do whatever you want to do here. However, I'm drawn to public service and hope that opportunities will open up in the future. The mission-driven work appeals to me, even if it means potentially earning less than I could in the private sector. So what you could have done is already made up your mind what to do. You shouldn't let anybody else decide it for you. And it seems to me like you have outlined the differences in what's going on here. You can go for the money, or you can go for what you want to do and work for the federal government. Has anyone here successfully built wealth while starting with a lower salary? Of course they have. I'm actually okay with the pay, but want to plan smartly. Making a larger salary would make you theoretically more successful, or at least the ability to build more wealth faster. For those who've worked federal jobs long term, how do the benefits, pension, TSP, matching, job security factor into overall wealth building compared to higher paying private sector roles? It's going to be less, just like everything else. What don't you understand about this? You're choosing between something you think you want to do, and guess what? People change their minds about that all the time. They think they want to do something. They go to school for it for 4, or even if it's a doctor, longer years, 8 years. And then they don't like being a doctor and hope they don't have student loans because when they don't be a doctor, otherwise they have to be a doctor even though they don't like it, just so they make the money to pay back those student loans. This is all new to me, and I really can't talk to my family about this. Why not? Why not? That may be an issue as well, but it seems to me like you've outlined everything that you need to outline. You understand it's going to be less money, but that's what you want to do, so you need to make the choice. You are an adult, so be an adult and make the adult decision. I don't think there's anything that you left out of the thought process. Basically, the pros and cons board, you can do that. You can write it down as pros and cons if you don't see that's already been done in this post. You can just write pros and cons, and it labels them, and they're short, and make it short. Don't do overdrawn sentences. Don't use like and about both in the same pro or con to describe it. OK suggestion 2003, 140K mortgage at 6.5% interest, 100K in cash. You would not have 100K in cash unless that is your full emergency fund. Have a mortgage of 40, and to have that 100K in cash, that means you debt leverage your house by keeping the debt on it. Dumbass. That all should have been put over the time it took you to save that 100K in cash. You could have put it to the mortgage and you would be paying less in interest significantly. Mortgage of 140K, 500K in cash. Not sure if it would make sense to put all to mortgage or invest the money. Rate is a tad high. Yeah, so the interest rate doesn't matter. The Ramsey advice here, and in most cases, does not use a calculator to figure out the answer. And that's a lot of financial bros, etc., have problems with that because, oh, well, Dave is dumb because he says that, me making 0.001% interest more doing it this way is bad. No, you're the dumbass because you don't understand that the advice, the baby steps are there for you to have a financial peace, not to make every extra cent by debt leveraging that you can. So that's two different things. The idea is to have no debt. And no, I don't know if you heard of Mr. Ramsey before. Have you ever met Mr. Ramsey? You ever heard of him? He's the no debt and no debt leverage guy. So quit being dumb. Either follow his advice or don't. We don't have to, why do we need to have the same debate over and over again? Everybody, why do you think you need to ask? Why do you think you are an exception to that? So you look at the baby steps and you see that says pay off your home early. Right? And you look here and it says invest 15% of your household income in retirement. It doesn't say, but if you also want to have more investing and not pay the house off early, go ahead. It doesn't say that. It also doesn't say pay off your home early, except unless you're a financial bro and you want to invest the money instead. It does not say that on there. Quit being dumb. Every dollar question, I don't know, is more of a pet peeve. Okay, not a question, a pet peeve. Baby step 7, everything went paid off. Great. Emergency fund, we use every dollar, so every dollar has a name. Great. She's gazelle intense about paying every bill the moment it comes in. Okay, so the water bill due on the 15th gets paid on the 5th. Fine. What's the problem with it? No issue other than since we get 3 retirement checks a month, so I have to be moving money from savings to checking to cover this early payment. Why do you have to do that? Why can't she do it? Do we have separate accounts? You doing it wrong if so. Why can't she do that? Why is it in different numbers? Why do you take down the main account or the payment account? Why do you take that down too much so it can't do that? Since you know she's going to pay it, why are you guys not leaving enough in there for that? So this is a you issue where you could easily, you don't have to ask about it. You just need to fix it so this can work. Either change what she's doing, change what you're doing, or make a new process, such as you having one of your retirement checks put into the other account or something like that. I mean, probably the easiest thing to do would be just transfer it every time, but that's up to you. Should I just leave an extra 1K in checking and not worry about that? Yeah, that's what I would do. And that's what I was suggesting. You're nutty, sir. This solves the problem, but seems to violate the idea of every dollar having a purpose. Squash money isn't allowed. Right, or like I don't think it's squash. I think they mean slush, like a slush fund. It means like money, just like the same thing about the extra savings for just in case I see something I want to buy, and that again is not intentional. And so I get it, but the fact that you need to have extra money in there, maybe it doesn't have to be $1,000. So should I leave an extra $1,000? How much is it short? Is it short the same every time? So if it's a water bill that is the problem, is the only problem. I mean, it could be multiple things that make this happen. But if it's only the water bill thing, you only need to have the water bill amount in there and not an extra $1,000. So, yeah. Baby step 7 doesn't have anything else to worry about. So, just worried about that, apparently. Bet careless. 0013. Gambling not advised. Especially in baby steps 1, 2, and 3. Car payoff. This may be a dumb question to some, I understand. Great. But to you, it's not. I have an opportunity to pay off my car in full. It's 2024. Owing $32K. This would free up $600 a month for me. And I just bought a new house with a larger mortgage than my last home. Any advice? Welcome. How do you have the opportunity to pay off your car? See, this is what we need to know. Where did just the money come from? Also, you buying a new house with a larger mortgage, I would be more concerned about that too. I mean, you should, because guess what? While you owed money on a car, you should not be buying or upgrading houses. You're doing it wrong. So when you say I have an opportunity to pay off my car, do you mean that's savings that you didn't already apply to pay off the car or put down on the new house with the larger mortgage? That would be doing it wrong. You do not take emergency fund money to do that, though. To apply to anything else, the emergency money sits there and waits for an emergency. Alrighty. Baby step 3 is this normal. Scared of rabbits. Alright. Rabbits don't seem that scary. Around 12 months ago, we finished baby step 2, able to move to baby step 3. That is how it happens. Good job. We have a determined amount that is our step 3 goal, between 3 to 6 months of mandatory bills. Great. That said, since starting step 3, we've had home AC go out, transmission out, literal car motor go under, and added in being sued, family law, okay, to the mix. That's just incredibly bad luck for all that to happen since you started step 3, but you can be thankful that you were not in step 2 when that happened. Every time we get close to moving on, and baby, I'll be moving on. But I didn't want anyone thinking I still care. I don't, but you still hit my phone up. Another thing pops up, right? Okay, well, you can't like keep home AC from going out, transmission or motor, and being sued. You know that's gonna happen. I mean, being sued. I guess don't be involved in whatever it is you're being sued for. But too late to stop that now. But this is not like another thing pops up like, oh, well, my friend wanted to go out to eat, and so I had to go, that kind of thing. Because that's an option. These other things are actual emergencies, and so you can't really do anything about that, except live with it and be thankful you had an emergency fund at least. The last thing, we were 700 from completing our fund when a 4,500 excuse me expense came up that we weren't expecting. What was it? What was it? What was it? $4,500 expense came up that we weren't expecting. Was it something that was an emergency? If not, you don't use the emergency fund for it, and you probably also don't do it at all if it's at all optional. So, but I would like to know what that is, and the fact that it's being left out is a little sus. I'm thankful we've been able to cash flow everything. Great. But I'm ready for a vacation. Sorry, finish step 3 first, and then that's when you can budget a vacation. Begin saving for retirement and for step 3 to be over. Okay, well, got a great idea. Quit bitching and get it finished. Work more, spend less, and get it finished faster. Shut up with your whining. Whining is not going to complete the emergency fund. For context, we have several children and own our own home. Okay. Is this normal? Some people have bad luck. But you didn't have that bad of luck because you could have had this crap happen in baby step 1 or baby step 2 even, or before even you started baby step 1 and your finances were in horrible shape. So you wouldn't have been able to cash flow all this stuff. So you can say you cash flow it. I mean, if you're taking it from the emergency fund, that's not cash flowing it. You paying for it out of your check. And so that's also something I would want to know from this person. If you were able to actually truly cash flow it out of your income, and so then you're mad about just a little thing that you couldn't use that money to complete the step 3. But you didn't have to go into the emergency fund for it. So don't know which one the case would be here. Doesn't make it clear on that. Alrighty. Again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And let's see when the next streams are. Might be. As always, subject to change. I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you would like a free consultation / assessment with me, you can schedule that at, if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule that by emailing me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can also use that email address for anything on my YouTube channel, any questions about financial coaching or financial stuff in general. Anything you want to talk about. Donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney or to CashApp, $Coach Steve Money. Walmart gift card. And as another alternative to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, and as always, subject to change. I should put that in capital letters. The Ramsey Show Aftershow show was Monday and today. And so I've done those, and that's it, I think. Oh, also this next Monday, the 18th. Yeah, that's right. I forgot I went ahead into next week's schedule. Cool. Monday, August 18th, and the Answering Your Financial Questions, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday, August 14th, that's tomorrow night. No stream Friday, it looks like. Probably working a mid shift. That takes me out of both after shows and 8 p.m. streams. The 16th and 17th of August, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Alrighty, and I will probably before the next stream, I will take a look at my schedule and get rid of the ones that I've already done and show a further calendar there. And again, always subject to change. I'm so sorry if you actually show up for a stream and it was canceled because I took on an extra shift or my schedule changed or something like that. Good example is today. I only found out yesterday. I was offered a 5-hour shift today. Today was my off day, but I'm going to be working 5 hours instead. But it is at night, and so it doesn't affect this after show that was planned. So this after show happened anyway. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.